गुड मॉर्निंग. कैसे हैं आप लोग? आज तो मैं भी नहीं सोया हूँ. आई ऑल्सो डिडेंट स्लीप. एक्चुअली वेंट फॉर अ लेट नाइट मूवी. So after that movie I came back by 12:30, and then it was like even if I sleep I'll be sleeping for 2 hours. I'll have to get back for the class. So I decided that I should continue with my some pending work, writing work, and should wait for you. So that's the reason I'm still waking up and waiting for all of you. So let's see how many of you are actually getting up at 3 a.m. How many of you have got the real inspiration, real motivation, and are doing really well. कितने बच्चे अपने आप अभी उठ के आते हैं? That is one of our concern. And as today's session, we have to deal with some unknown topics, unknown questions, unknown writers. They are not actually unknown, but why I'm calling them unknown? Because 90% students who are coming from small towns, small school colleges, small universities, state universities, private universities, non-collegiate background, they all face problems in these writers. So they are the writers, the latest ones, the remotest ones, but most of the students don't know about it. So we will be discussing about these writers. We will discuss these questions, these topics, and I'll make sure that the session, early morning session 3 a.m., it works for you. Today's session should be very, very important for you. I'll also ask you some questions in between. So till then, let's take 5 minutes. Hope everyone else has joined us. तब तक 5 मिनट लेते हैं. बच्चे सारे जो हैं, जो अभी भी उठे होंगे, मुंह धो रहे होंगे, वो सब जल्दी से ज्वाइन करेंगे. A very good morning to all of you, to all the warriors, to all the warriors. A very good morning. Thank you, Upasna. So before we wait for other students to join the batch, when I was a student and started preparing for NET exam, coming from a small village, I didn't know that what all I should read. Like Ravi is asking me, sir, आप हनुमानगढ़ डिस्ट्रिक्ट से हो क्या? Yes, I am. So हमारे यहाँ पे इंग्लिश लिटरेचर का कल्चर नहीं है. जो प्रॉब्लम्स मैंने झेली हैं वो रवि भी झेल रहा होगा. We do not have that background, that mindset, that culture where they talk about literature, they talk about career related to literature. Imagine when I came to Delhi, I used to believe that literature starts with Chaucer and ends with T.S. Eliot, and that's the only thing I have to read, and the net paper is made of only these writers, and you qualify. So just because coming from a small town and not having any idea, when I saw previous year's question papers, I was surprised. Most of the questions were unknown to me. So it is not that I have read, I couldn't read, I couldn't remember. The problem was that the topics were unknown. Many of you face the same thing in exam. You don't even understand what is the question and from where they have asked. That is one of the biggest problem with small town universities, college students, non-college students, private state universities or private universities. Mostly DU, JNU students don't face these kind of problems, but others face. Like I'll ask you a question. 3 Circles by Braj Kachru. I bet only online students or who have watched my special video on this, only they will answer. Others will not answer. 3 Circles of Language by Braj Kachru. English language, 3 Circles by Braj Kachru. How many of you remember these 3 circles and the countries which fall in these circles? किसको किसको याद है? Come on. Giving you some time so that you'll understand what I want to say. 3 Circles by Braj Kachru. मंजू चूरू में एक सुमन नाम की लड़की है, उसने नेट क्वालिफाई किया था. एंड सुमन इज नॉट अ नॉर्मल 20-22 साल की लड़की. शी इज आई थिंक 38 or 40. She watched my video, then she did MA, scored really well, and after that she qualified NET. She came to meet me with her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law was she wanted to see me, that who has inspired her to do MA English and then qualify NET. So we have a lady, Suman, Churu. English में है, चूरू में और भी कई बच्चे हैं. बहुत बढ़िया. Joy has answered that. Just one answer till now. So technically it's proving my point. That's why I really wanted to tell you. Chalo, tell me this thing. When the language comes to human being, there are certain theories which is related to the first origin of language. How language must have reached to human beings. Can you name some of those theories which are related to the first language acquisition? The first language acquisition theories. किसी को कुछ नाम याद है? ऑनलाइन वाले आपको तो पूरा लेक्चर मिला हुआ है सारी थ्योरी पे. यू हैव गॉट कंप्लीट लेक्चर्स. बोलो. बहुत बढ़िया मलिका, शाबाश. बाओ बाओ थ्योरी, डिंग डोंग थ्योरी, पू थ्योरी, टाटा थ्योरी, लाला थ्योरी, यो थ्योरी. Yes, those who are listening it for the first time will be thinking that sir is taking some ajeeb sa name. Sir is taking some random names. But yes, ding dong, bao bao, lala, tata, poo and yo he ho are the theories actually, and theories of the first language acquisition. Now ask yourself, how many of you have books of language acquisition? That's the problem of NET. They don't even give you the books. There are no books. Now I have a question. This is from one of my paper that I have in my hand. It's related to criticism. It's related to culture studies. My question is, Matthew Arnold has used the references of Philistines, barbarians, and populace. Who, according to Matthew Arnold, from his famous book Culture and Anarchy, who are Philistines, who are barbarians, and who are populace? Your time starts now. Question of NET exam. मैंने YouTube Shorts पे भी questions का system शुरू किया है, quiz का. It's small, easy way to answer questions. Sivli says कि सर मेरे पास आपके lectures हैं. Yes, उनको focus करो. When I got into this NET field ना, उससे पहले कुछ था ही नहीं यहाँ पे. लोगों को British history के बारे में ज़्यादा पता नहीं था. अब तो चलो फिर भी teachers को कुछ idea है थोड़ा बहुत. We learn from each other. YouTube देख लेते हैं. Barbarians upper class, Philistines working class, and populace. ठीक है, barbarians सही है, Philistines working class है, middle class है. Populace is the labor class. Populace is the labor class. Now we go for the questions for you. And this is one of my old rough notebook, and here I always go for special questions. So we go for some special questions for you. And who in the last days of his life was in depression and called his life a joke? Name the writer who was in the depression in the last days of his life and called it a joke. It became actually a famous dialogue at that time. Surely this time you're gonna get the JRF. Come on. It's Leo Tolstoy. There is a proper line. He said that life is a joke someone had played upon me. Life is a joke someone has played upon me. किसी ने मेरे साथ जिंदगी देखी, मुझे मजाक किए. ये फेमस कोट है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है, याद रखना. Who has developed the translation theory, interpretive theory of translation? Interpretive theory of translation. Who has developed that? Online students, translation theory lecture याद करो. Translation theory lecture. No, not Derrida. Translation theory. It's interpretive theory of translation. I have taught you. 1970s में it got developed. मैंने आपको पढ़ाया है. One student has answered. Janvi has answered. Yes, it's Danica Selskovic. Danica Selskovic. इसको याद कर लेना. In fact, जैसे मान लो for the online students you have the lectures, so you have to go through the lectures. If you're not able to answer it, it means I have found a loophole in your preparation. So I'm telling you where to study. Translation theory lecture, check it again. If you're a new student, just WhatsApp me. In case you have missed, I'll give you the names. ठीक है? Go for the next one. Next question is, Who has written? ये आना चाहिए आपको. Sakharam Binder. Sakharam Binder is a famous work written by. Sakharam Binder is a famous work written by. Waiting for the answer. Come on. Then I'll give you answer from my side. No answers? Come on. Yes, Vijay Tendulkar. Very good. बहुत बढ़िया. Now this book is very, very important. Please note this book. There are so many, references of this book which became viral during Corona. Corona time में, COVID time में, that book became viral. So you have to note it down. The Last Man, written by Mary Shelley, 1826. The Last Man, written by Mary Shelley, 1826. Now I'll read it for you. A novel set in future where humanity is destroyed by a great plague. 21st century is the setting. Lord Raymond is the character who is based on Lord Byron. So she wrote this book in 1826 and she guessed that in 21st century there will be a plague that will destroy humanity. So उन्होंने बहुत पहले book लिखी, The Last Man, 1826, Mary Shelley. Let me ask you a question related to it. There is a question that the term modern Prometheus was derived from. Term modern Prometheus किससे लिया था? इसका आंसर है the term modern Prometheus was derived from Immanuel Kant. Kant was a astrophysicist. He was expert of geography, astronomy, and would connect. So technically, I should say that he was astrophysicist. He is the one who developed this term because he is the first one who called the word Prometheus for modern time. He used the reference Prometheus of modern time for Benjamin Franklin. So वहाँ से line famous हुई. What is the name of the girl in Lion and the Jewel written by Soyinka? Lion and the Jewel written by Soyinka. What is the name of the girl? Come on, कौन बताएगा? What is the name of the girl in Lion and the Jewel written by Soyinka? If you're not able to answer, don't worry. Just think that you still have approx 15 days for exam and you have found your loopholes. अपनी गलतियां चेक करते जाओ. JRF करना है ना, तो ऐसे ही होगा. अपनी गलतियां चेक करते रहो. City, very good, बहुत बढ़िया. Name the famous writer who has written Blood Knot, the story of two brothers. Remember, I have taught you, one is black, one is white, one is in love with a girl. Who has written Blood Knot? The famous book Blood Knot has been written by खून का रिश्ता. Waiting for the right answer. Come on. Who has written Blood Knot? Famous book. Morris, Jacheria, two brothers. Waiting for Athol Fugard. Sharmini Patnaik has answered. बहुत बढ़िया. Who has famously written a work related to Nelson Mandela? The name of the book is Mandela's Ego. Who will tell me? Mandela's Ego has been written by. Mandela's Ego has been written by. Come on. The man who connects his sexuality to Mandela. Mandela's speech makes him more sexually active. He goes for multiple affairs. Then Mandela's house arrest, troubles him. He loses his confidence, his energy, his sexual activities, and gets troubled for next 30 years. Name the writer. Who has written Mandela's Ego? जिसको याद नहीं आ रहा है, this is the time. Check your preparation once again. Lewis and Cossey. Lewis and Cossey. It's not Jake Smada. Lewis and Cossey. In which book we find the famous character Bigger Thomas? Bigger Thomas is a famous character. Question of net exam. He appears in which book? Bigger Thomas is a character. किस book में? He is a driver of a white girl. He tries to kiss the white girl, but then he gets scared and unwillingly he tries to shut her up. उसका मुंह बंद करने की कोशिश करता है, but unwillingly he suffocates her. She dies. Bigger Thomas commits suicide. The Native Son, बहुत बढ़िया. Richard Wright's Native Son, बहुत ही बढ़िया. Going for more questions to surprise you in details. Who has famously written the famous work Shakespearean Negotiations? Shakespearean Negotiations have been written by a part of New Historicism, a book related to new historic literature, new historicism, new historic theory. Shakespearean Negotiations. Who has written that? Come on. Didn't get the right answer, then we go for more questions. Stephen Greenblatt. Stephen Greenblatt. बहुत बढ़िया. Then there is a famous work of non-fiction asked in net exam. The question is Black feminist thought, knowledge, consciousness and the politics of empowerment. Black feminist thoughts, knowledge, consciousness and politics of empowerment. This non-fiction book has been written by Patricia Hill Collins. ये नोट कर लेना, Patricia Hill Collins, who had famously written The Negro Speaks Up the River. The Negro Speaks Up the River. The famous work has been written by someone who has written I Too Sing America. One writer, two books. The Negro Speaks of the River and I Too Sing America. किसने लिखा है? Come on. बहुत easy writer, बहुत easy. Langston Hughes, बहुत बढ़िया. शर्वनी, बहुत बढ़िया. शर्वनी, you deserve a JRF. तो में से कई स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे हैं जो बहुत अच्छा आंसर करते हैं. And I personally tell you, many of you deserve JRF. बस don't be overconfident and don't stop, right? Don't slow down. अच्छा पढ़ रहे हो, अच्छे efforts लगा रहे हो, so रुकना नहीं. आपके जैसे स्टूडेंट JRF करके जाते हैं. For me, when people they qualify net is not that much surprising. I know I teach that way. But when people go for JRF, it shows that somebody has actually turned the stones. So don't leave any stone unturned. बहुत बढ़िया. Now we have a question for all of you. The publication timing. अब कुछ questions publication से related हैं. The publication of Lucky Jim. In which year Lucky Jim was published? Come on. It is written by Kingsley MS. His son is Martin MS. Lucky Jim is a campus novel. Title is taken from Philip Larkin's address, Jim Dixon Street. My question is, in which year Lucky Jim was published? आशीष विमल सबसे पहले आंसर है 1954. करेक्ट. बहुत बढ़िया. Name the book in which there is a couple and the scene starts where the girl is ironing the clothes. The boy is very much angry, doesn't like the upper class girl. The girl is from upper class. They love each other. There is a game of bear and the squirrel, but they also fight. And the book also is connected to a genre. The book was published in 1957. You tell me the name of the book. Book का नाम आप बताइए. कहानी बता दी है, थीम बता दिया है. सुष्मिता पांडे, वैष्णवी चौधरी, बहुत बढ़िया. तूफान, बहुत बढ़िया. लुक बैक इन एंगर, बहुत ही बढ़िया, शानदार. Rudyard Kipling wrote a famous work in 1906, and that famous book is also called historical fantasy. What is the name of the book? I'll tell you. Puck of Pook's Hill. Puck of Pook's Hill. Collection of short stories set in different periods of English history. That's why it's called historical, historical fantasy. Who has written the classical work A Rose for Emily? A Rose for Emily, one of the finest works set in Yokna Patwa. I have given you the clue. You tell me. Rose for Emily, one of the finest works set in Yokna Patwa. I just love the way I have read things randomly. बहुत कुछ पढ़ा है. पहले structure से पढ़ा है, पहले कायदे से पढ़ा. And when I started teaching, I went for random readings. William Faulkner, बहुत बढ़िया, very good. It's very good story. If you read, it's very good story. The famous work Rip Van Winkle, which deals with American resistance against colonization. Rip Uncle Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle is written by, किसने लिखा है? Rip Van Winkle किसने लिखा है? There is an old man, he goes to the mountains. Very good, Washington Irving. बहुत बड़े answer. When he comes down, 20 years have been passed. Who has famously written A Raisin in the Sun question of net exam connected to Harlem? The title has been taken from Harlem. Also called Dream Deferred. Raisin in the Sun. It's a must read. ये पढ़ना है आपको. Raisin in the Sun. किसने लिखा है? Come on. It's Lauren Hensbury. Lauren. Not Lawrence. Lauren Hensbury. Whose autobiography is called I Know Why the Caged Birds Sing? Whose autobiography is called I Know Why the Caged Birds Sing? It's a female writer from Afro-American literature. Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou. Note it down. ये पढ़ना है आपको. Have you read Color Purple and Uncle Tom's Cabin? If you have done, it's good. If not, do it. ये कर लो. Now there is a question. Who started नई कहानी movement in Indian modern theatres? नई कहानी movement. The movement of 1950s Indian modern theatre. नई कहानी movement. That is by मोहन राकेश. बहुत बढ़िया. ये ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स ने तो धमाल कर रखा है. So proud of you. I'm telling you, ये जितने टीचर्स घूम रहे हैं ना, तुम उनको बिठा के पढ़ा सकते हो. तुम्हें ज़्यादा नॉलेज है. तुम लोग को ज़्यादा आता है. Name the famous writer who has written the famous work in Gujarati, Sarvodaya, inspired by Ruskin's Unto This Last. Who wrote Sarvodaya in Gujarati? बहुत बढ़िया. महात्मा गांधी. बहुत बढ़िया. Very good. What is the name of the hero in Nikolai Gogol's famous work Overcoat? Nikolai Gogol's Overcoat famous work. What is the name of the hero? The leading protagonist of Overcoat, written by Nikolai Gogol. Akaki. Sharmani. बहुत बढ़िया. Last 2-3 questions, then I'll take leave. I haven't slept today. Who has written Good Women of Szechuan? Good Women of Szechuan, and what are the names of characters? The Good Women of Szechuan, and what are the names of characters? Bertolt Brecht, बहुत बढ़िया. And what are the names of characters? Dhaval Sharma, बहुत बढ़िया. Shante. One more name. Shante is here. One more name. Shweta. Pooja Rani, बहुत बढ़िया नाम. Shweta Shante. So, done with some 30-minute session approx. Ab you have got the pending topics to read. See, many of you who are already registered in online classes, you have been taught these things. Even if these are random for others, not for you. If you couldn't answer, my first responsibility is towards you. Revise those lectures. We still have 15 days. And the new students, exam days are near, so you are also my students' responsibility. I suggest you watch this video second time, note those questions. All the answers have been given here, but in case you find trouble or you want them in an order, So simply drop a WhatsApp on 8810289637. One of my assistant, he has been given the job to note down all the questions, to note down all the answers and provide every student. This is the time of need. We understand everybody is coming out of that corona situation. So if you couldn't note down these things, just WhatsApp me on 8810289637. I'll forward it to you. Tomorrow we have a rapid fire session on culture studies, 7:30. Rapid fire culture studies. Be ready. पहले से पढ़ के तैयार रहो so that we can rock. Rapid fire on culture studies. And for next few days we'll go for rapid fire on paper 1 and 3 AM session on paper 1. कुछ उस पे काम करते हैं. ठीक है? Yeah, tomorrow means today after 12. So today only 7:30 PM we have a rapid fire session. So see you all. Culture studies, rapid fire, aaj, today. Be ready. Take care. God bless you. And yes, WhatsApp me 8810289637. Don't call me a god. Just keep praying that I become a good human being. भगवान वगैरह नहीं बनना है. Gods are jealous of human beings because gods don't have emotion. They have lived a big life. We humans have emotions. So I want to be a human only. No desires to be a god. Okay? So God bless you all. Take care.